And and anyway, I wanted to read something for Jim. It's taken me a long time to be able to read it and probably not choke up, but I want to read this, especially in light of the fact that Jim is the superintendent of the year. I probably should have read it earlier, but I was having a hard time. So this is something that I wrote back in June for Jim's his evaluation, but it's very appropriate given that he is also the superintendent of the year. As much as there is and always will be controversy as a community, we are in a much better place with you as the CEO of our school district. You represent the highest standards I have seen demonstrated by any member of the educational community concerning professionalism, analytical ability, management and financial skills, and education. Your first thought is always, what is in the best interest of the students? Your first question is always, what needs to be done to get us there? Your first action is a collaborative effort with your administration, faculty, and staff to develop a plan. You always consult the school committee concerning your efforts so we are prepared, can provide input, clear a path, or provide warning concerning any community and taxpayer hurdles. In the end, you always achieve success. Sometimes the success comes after a lengthy battle, but it comes. Sometimes it does not come to the level we desire, but it comes. One of the two highest compliments I was ever given as a professional came from a man I still admire. He was Brad Monroe, the Vice President of Procurement for Instron Corporation. He taught me more in 12 months about purchasing than most professional teachers could do over the course of 4 years. The compliment in a meeting in front of many folks at Instron was, Lee is my A student. Well, I'm in no position to call you a student. However, in some ways, I am one of your students. I am only one of the elected officials, the stewards, as Terry Donovan so sincerely describes us, that are responsible for making certain the students of Exeter, West Greenwich are given the absolute best education that the taxpayers can afford in accordance with the laws of the state of Rhode Island and Providence Plantations. What I have known for many years, for years before I was a member of this school committee, is that to live up to our oath of office, it takes work, commitment, and the ability to achieve a balance by way of collaboration and compromise. Jim, you have proven to be the single best decision that the stewards of Exeter West Greenwich ever made for the students, faculty, staff, and the community of Exeter West Greenwich. I was blessed to be a part of that decision, and I have no regrets. I am happy you are with us. I wish you the best in the future, and if needed, I am a phone call away. Sincerely.
I remember.
I will miss all of you.
I really appreciate it, Lee. I remember reading that when you sent it to me in my evaluation, and it rings, it has the same impact on me this time as it did the first time. It means a lot, and I just appreciate all of your support, the support of the school committee, because together we've done a lot of really great things, and I can't do it alone. I can't do it alone. So I do appreciate everything that you've done and that the committee has done with me for our school and for our community. So thank you so much.
Thank you, and thank you all.
Awesome. Thanks again, Lee. Okay, we'll move on to the consent agenda.
Okay, under consent, we have the approval of the executive session minutes from October 13th. You recall this is something that we've not been able to vote on because of a quorum issue at our last meetings. And then we have our regular minutes of November 10th. We have one appointment. So this is one of the 4-hour recess assistants at Wawaloom, We did have someone appointed to that position and then resigned shortly thereafter. That was 2 meetings ago. So this is just a replacement of a vacancy that occurred at the start of the school year and then reoccurred after we hired somebody to fill it. So she's been in the role since November 17th. And we also have our monthly bills and then 1 returning family for homeschool. That covers it.
Okay. I know we need to pull the executive session minutes and pull the 11:10 meeting minutes. And we'll pull those 2 items. And anybody have any questions or comments or like anything else pulled? Everybody's good? Okay. Let's have a motion to approve the consent agenda less the meeting minutes of 11:10 and the executive session meeting minutes of October 13th.
So moved, Donovan.
Do we have a second?
Seconded, Lee.
Okay. Okay, I'll take a roll call vote. Member Kissinger,
Aye.
Member Donovan,
Aye.
Member Green,
Aye.
Member Allen,
Aye.
Member McFadden.
Aye.
Okay, and I'm an aye. Motion carries. Okay, then if we can have a motion to approve the regular meeting minutes of November 10th.
So moved.
So moved, Alan.
Okay,
Second, Lee.
okay. We'll take a roll call vote. Member Kissinger,
Aye.
Member Donovan,
Aye.
Member Green,
Aye.
Member Allen,
Aye.
Member McFadden.
Aye.
Okay, and I abstain due to absence. And then if we can have a motion to approve the executive session minutes of October 13th.
Donovan, so moved.
And do we have a second?
Green, second.
Okay. Okay, I'll take a roll call vote. Member Kissinger,
I have to abstain.
Member Donovan,
Aye.
Member Green,
Aye.
Member Allen,
Abstain.
Member McFadden,
Aye.
and I'm an aye. Okay, motion carries. That could be a record for the longest minutes that we've had to approve. And I was hoping it could get done tonight, because guess what? Next meeting, we have different people.
I wouldn't know anyway.
Okay. I don't believe we have any correspondence in the packet, so we'll
All the
skip over
remainder
that.
of the consent?
I'm sorry, Terry?
Did we vote on the remainder of the consent agenda?
Yeah.
Sorry, thank you.
Let's see, monthly subcommittee reports. I didn't see any. Jim, does anybody have anything they'd like to report for their committees? I didn't see anything in the packet.
I don't think we have any updates on the subcommittees unless there is something from the building committee.
Okay.
Uh,
Anything from the building committee? Bob or Lee? That doesn't fall under capital project update and bond discussion. We'll get to that later.
I have a question on that. If you're gonna, is Bob on?
Bob was on.
Yeah.
Where's Bob?
Well, if
I don't see- I don't
wherever
see
we
Bob
can
anymore.
return, I have a, what?
Doesn't look like Bob's here right now.
Okay.
All right, so when he comes back on, I'd just like to ask him about the furnace at Wallow.
Okay. We'll go back to that. We don't have any new business, unfinished business. We have the October 1st enrollment. That was in our packets. But I think we need Bob. What happened to Bob? Bob, where are you?
Disappeared.
I can at least speak to the October 1st enrollment numbers.
Okay.
So I think Bob provided the where we were or where we have been in terms of the count. There were 2 additional addresses awaiting final proof of residency. We continue to work on those. West Greenwich did question another address this morning. So we continue to go back and forth and investigate and get to the bottom of some questions on the last remaining students. We're pretty much agreed on almost everything, but those last remaining students sometimes takes a little bit of time. It will not impact the overall percentage significantly, so it'll remain fairly close to what's reported here. But this has not been signed off yet by West Greenwich. There are still, just so that everybody is aware, there are still some residency cases that we're continuing to look at. We will have them finalized as soon as possible.
When I went down to town hall and I mentioned it to Bob, so I was kind of hoping Bob
Bob
was
is back.
on the call.
Bob has
Bob?
returned.
Oh, Bob.
Hey, Bob.
He's connecting to the audio.
Oh, wait a second.
Seems like Bob's having technical difficulties.
Yeah, I don't see a microphone next to his name.
Yeah.
So I'll talk, given that he may not be able to get back in and overcome his technical things. But basically, when I went to Exeter Town Hall, I found out that according to the clerks there, they hadn't received, this was last week, the actual list of students for 2020. So I wanted him to, and I spoke to him shortly afterwards, so I wanted to know what the outcome of a conversation or any emails he sent to them. So I'm kind of hoping he does join again, so I can ask that question.
Yeah, Bob would have to answer that because my understanding is that both lists were sent to the towns, and that's the list that West Greenwich has used to review and ask their questions. So I'm surprised to hear that Exeter said they didn't have them yet, but that would definitely be a question for Bob.
The conversation I had was last week now was they didn't get it, and therefore they haven't done any work on it. And I want to hear something that says they did receive it, they've done some work, or they have received it, but they haven't finished.
Yeah.
Like any of those things. But, no Bob.
Jim, any chance you can text Bob and ask him to call in?
Yeah.
I'm just going to pause everybody because I'm assuming that we're going to need Bob on 6C also. So let's just see if we can get him before we proceed.
Is there some reason he just can't call in like I am with a phone? Is there, Jeremy?
I just sent him the information so he could.
I think Jim might be Jim might be communicating with him right now.
Technology is a wonderful thing.
When it works.
Exactly.
Excuse me. So when Bob can hear the entire meeting, but when he goes to speak, nobody can hear him. It says his microphone is muted and he can't change the setting. He's on his phone right now. I don't know if there's any advice, Jeremy, that you have for him.
So he joined via his phone. Did he connect the audio? And if he did, if he's dialed in, *6 should unmute his mic. If he's joined via internet audio, then there's a mute unmute button.
If he's on his phone, there's also a driving mode which he could be in which point he has to tap a certain button to be able to speak.
It's possible the hand raised on the public line might be Bob.
That was me.
Okay, sorry, Jeremy.
No problem.
Worth a try, Terry.
Trying to find Bob.
All right, he's going to call in and try the *6. I mean, it shows him on my screen as trying to connect to the audio. I'm not really sure why he's showing up here. He said he's completely logged out.
No,
Alice, I need you to get out.
no, I can't.
I need you to get out.
No, I can't out.
Yes, you need to get out.
No, I can't out.
I didn't realize I was unmuted.
Welcome
So
to-
it's always good for a good laugh, Jeremy.
If that's the only time that that's happened during this entire debacle, you're about 50 ahead of me. So,
It's not.
Thank you, Jeremy.
When my son is around, he tries to run the meeting. He wants to put people in breakout rooms.
There you go.
Good God.
Too savvy.
Okay, I see Bob, a phone next to Bob's name. So I think, Bob, if you can hear us, I think you have to hit *6 to unmute yourself.
All right.
There you go.
Oh,
Yeah, Bob.
Hey, new
Hey.
feature.
Woo.
Don't see that *6 in many Zoom, directions. Anyway, Lee, I heard your whole, speech and everybody paying you accolades. We go back a long way, and I look forward to the work ahead of us. You're on the town side, but still on the building committee, so looking forward to that. And I echo everybody else's, sentiments. You ask the tough questions. Sometimes you make people uncomfortable, but that's okay. That's part of the job, and you never shy away from that, and that's an admirable trait. So thank you for all your service.
Thank you, Bob.
Yep.
Okay,
So,
Bob, while we have you,
Okay.
so Member McFadden had a question about Wawaloom.
So Bob, is the wall furnace finally done, completed?
It is. The commissioning agent, Stephen Turner, was there on, I think it was Wednesday and Thursday. They had two issues. One was just a temperature sensor. It was too close to to a heat source, so they had to relocate it and adjust that. And then the other was the actuator. They just needed to get it so that it's fully opened and fully closed. The ATC did that. They did a video of it, of it working and the work that they did, and they were submitting that to Stephen Turner, and then Turner was going to sign off on the project. Since they've done that work, we've had power outages, cold weather, rainy weather, and the boiler is performing fine. So it's very, very good.
Excellent.
Great.
Okay.
Yeah,
And then,
and my other que-
Paul, hold on. And then Bob, Member McFadden had a question on the October 1st enrollment. Go ahead, Paul.
So Bob, I spoke to you last week after coming from Exeter Town Hall about they claim that, and maybe you helped them, that they hadn't seen the 2020 enrollment list. Did you have a conversation with them to straighten that out?
I've been dealing with Lynn Hawkins, the town clerk. On November 16th, I sent them the enrollment, or October 16th, excuse me, October 16th, I sent her the enrollment for in-district and the choice school, that's the out-of-district students. So they have that. And then I sent them the additional enrollment that they requested based on the, the request for the payment of the additional $30,000, or what they would owe us in round numbers of $30,000 based on the change in enrollment for last year. So they have the enrollment figures. They have not reached out to me again. I'm assuming that they're doing what they're doing with it. We continue to get feedback from West Greenwich, but as far as Exeter, they have the info and I haven't heard from them.
Right, I understand that, but you and I spoke last week, so after, excuse me, after you and I spoke, did you reach out to them at all?
No, I've reached out to Lynn with the follow-up. The last correspondence I had with her subsequent to our post our conversation dealt with the enrollment for it was actually the change in the 20 year for the, for that 12 million or the $30,000 additional that we're seeking from them.
All right.
But nobody from there is saying that they don't have the information. I'm not sure. One of the things I'm loath to do is to start emailing different folks. I prefer to deal with Lynn. That's who I generally deal with all the time, and I get great response. So.
Sure. Okay. I'll check tomorrow with them to make sure everything's okay. Thanks.
Yeah, I mean, we can get it to them, but again, it's one of those things where, I deal with Charlene on the West Greenwich side, and I deal with Lynn on the Exeter side.
Yep. Okay.
So far.
All right.
Okay.
Just on the capital bond, Chair Panday, if I could just give an update.
So I'm thinking while we have you connected to us,
Yep.
why does somebody make a motion to move 6C, up to have a discussion now? So move 6C up before B.
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay. I gotta take my roll call vote. Hold on. Okay, Member Kissinger,
Aye.
Member Donovan,
Aye.
Member Green,
Aye.
Member Allen,
Aye.
Member McFadden,
Aye.
Member Gardner.
Aye.
Okay, and I'm an aye. Okay, motion carries. Bob, go ahead. So we're on capital project update / bond discussion.
Yep. So the Walloon project that's wrapping up. We should make our final payment to ATC, and then just for that project and what we owe Toronto and what we owe the commissioning agent, all within budget. That's fine. That wraps up the capital projects for 21. So the good news on the bond project is we received information from the Department of Education, Rides School Building Authority, that our stage 2 for the 17.8 million has passed, and we're just waiting for the formal letter on that. So that's very positive, which would then mean we start to move into phase 3 of the design and in the schematics, more fleshing out the schematics. So that's very, very positive. And I can tell you right now that every other day the HVAC system at the high school presents a different challenge for Steve and his crew. They're doing great. They're managing it, but that HVAC project can't come soon enough for us, for the district. So that's very positive. Regarding the bond, these are, I don't know, Claudine, you might have been copied on, but we sent out on the school committee the letter to the legislators to submit the enabling legislation for us. So I think Representative Price is going to do that for us on behalf of the school district. So we're moving forward, and that's very positive.
Very
Did
good.
I lose you?
No, you're good.
Oh, no. Okay.
Okay, hold
That's
on one
all.
second. Let me see if anybody has any questions before you leave. Any questions for Bob on the bond or any capital projects? I don't see any hands up, Bob. I think you're good.
Okay. Okay. Well, thank you, and I hope everybody has a safe and thankful Thanksgiving for all the good things that we do have.
Same
Thanks,
to you,
Bob.
Bob.
Thanks, Bob.
All right.
You too.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Thank you. Bye now.
Okay, we'll go to the 2021 reentry planning update.
Okay, I just have a couple of updates. First, the signatures that I got from the school committee for that SBA, the School Business Authority grant that we were eligible for, that required all 7 signatures. We submitted that paperwork. Since the last school committee meeting and since the submission of that, we received approval. We received our formal grant award, and we've already submitted for reimbursement for the entire amount. That grant will cover all of the HEPA filters that we ordered to address the air quality issue at Wawaloon. So let me clarify, because I said air quality issue, it's that we didn't have the correct air exchanges without the windows staying open at Wawaloon based on the formula that is used. And as the weather continues to get colder, of course, that became an issue. Those filters were the ones recommended. And so we've ordered 15 of them, which cost us about $100 less than the full grant that we received. So they're all received. They're all set up at Wawaloon. That building is now good. And we've already submitted for reimbursement for the cost of all of those filters. We're actually receiving some additional filters from the state. Every school department is receiving some. They did a bulk order, and we are not going to be required to pay for those, but we're going to use those for some of the smaller office spaces and some of the rooms that don't have windows at the other buildings. So that's the plan for those additional filters. So that's taken care of. At the last school committee meeting, it was the day of or the day immediately after the notification that we would be doing contact tracing. So we have been, and I have not myself and I have not had any of the building administrators sign off on any kind of an attestation. However, we are collecting the information that is required according to the rules that are established by the Department of Health. And we're getting pretty good at it. In fact, we are able to complete the process much quicker than it was being completed for us by the Department of Health. We submit our information along with a disclaimer that was provided to us by our attorney. And so the process is kind of speeding up. Because we're now in charge of the contact tracing, we've actually identified a couple of areas that we could be better at, and it will help us to gather the information more quickly. In particular, it's the seating charts of the bus. So we've worked with the bus company. In fact, I was over there today meeting with Scott. We've transferred all of the bus seating charts onto Google Documents so that we have access to the charts the second they change. So they put a change in, we can open up the bus seating charts from our desk, from our homes, and we can collect that information that is necessary for tracing if we need to for a case through the Department of Health. So the bus company has been super helpful in helping us through that process. And of course, since the last meeting, there was a big announcement by the governor. That was last week. And the two announcements in particular that impact schools are, first, the postponement of all athletics until what she said is January. And what we're being told is that it will just be revisited. So it's not a guarantee that it will start up again in January, but there will be no winter athletics or practices and no town athletics that are happening between now and at least January. So that was one announcement. And then the second announcement that was made had to do with high schools. And so it was not a recommendation, it was not a mandate, because if it were a recommendation, I just want to be clear that if the Department of Health recommends something, for me, it kind of creates a liability for us, because if the Department of Health said this is a recommendation and then we don't do it and somebody gets ill, then it could be used against us, against me, against the school department, against the school committee. There was a recommendation, you didn't follow it, this child got sick. It was not a recommendation, it was an option. That's the wording that was used. So she was very clear that it is simply an option only for high school, and it would be at the discretion of the superintendent based on cases and staffing and all the other variables that she talked about. To be honest, our high school is outside of Lynham, the school with the lowest case rate. We've had a total of 5 children, 2 of which are full distance learners and have been distance learners since the start of the school year. So that has really nothing to do with the school. The other 3 cases that we've had, 2 of them were directly related to athletics, town athletics and like specialty league athletics, and then 1 additional case where other members of the family had also tested positive. In all of those cases, the children were identified and isolated immediately, and there was no other case that occurred in the school that could be traced back to the 3 cases that I just told you about. So we are really doing well in comparison to the state. Our numbers are among the lowest. We have a hybrid model. We have a number of kids that are on full distance learning. It's really working out well for us, and we do not see any need for there to be a change. So the decision here was to keep things as they are. All of our surrounding communities have done the same, and the only feedback that I have received from the community has been positive and thankful. So that's where we are at this point. Our numbers in terms of cases, again, are low at every building, but we did have our first 2 cases at Wawaloom, 1 staff and 1 student, since the last school committee meeting. We have had a number of cases at Metcalf. And again, most of them are connected back to positive family members. The children were isolated immediately, quarantined by the Department of Health. We have no incidents of spread at any of those buildings either. We continue to be able to staff all of our buildings. Our teachers have been tremendous in that in the event that they're not allowed to come to work, we have an agreement that they can remote in. So their students are in school. The teachers are remoting into their classroom so that the children have continuity of instruction from their teacher. and we are staffing the classroom with either flexible staffing that we have through our teacher assistants, or we've been able to hire a couple of non-certified supervisory subs, and they're there just to kind of monitor the students in person while they're being taught remotely by their certified classroom teacher. That has really worked out well for us. Of course, there are glitches, and we continue to work through that to make it more efficient and more effective. But to this point, it is basically December now, and we have not had to close any buildings as a result of staffing. So it's been good. I have closed 2 individual classrooms, both of them at Wawaloon. And one of them was due to the positive staff member, and one of them was due to the positive student. The positive student was this week, and so it really was only Monday and Tuesday. There were a number of kids that were identified as close contacts, including the classroom teacher. So we just put the whole class on distance learning, and they will return after the Thanksgiving break. Outside of those 2 classrooms, we've not had to close any classes at any of the other buildings. So we continue to do just fine. You know, it's a challenge every day, but we're managing, and people are happy to be in school.
Excellent. Thanks, Jim. Does anybody have any questions? Terry, go ahead.
Thank you. Just a couple. When you've had the positive situations at Wawaloon, I assume that there's a deeper cleaning of those rooms. Has that been managed by staff personnel, or are you using an outside firm?
No, we ordered all of the materials that we would need, the machines and the recommended cleaning supplies in the summertime, anticipating that this would happen. So Steve and his crew are handling that. You know, I just give him a call and tell him the area that needs to be cleaned, and he takes care of it for us. Goes in on the weekend if that's necessary, but it's worked out really well.
Okay.
He's able to do it immediately.
You know, did the district express any interest in any of the Take It Outside grant funding?
We have done a lot with Take It Outside, but we have not needed any of the items that would qualify for reimbursement. We've not needed anything. So we got a couple of tents. That was free. That was a donation through the National Guard. We have everything else that we would need. Like, for example, at the junior senior high school, we have an outdoor classroom. We have the STEM park. There's a lot of areas that are already set up that other schools don't have. And so we didn't really identify anything that we would need from writing for any of that grant money.
Does that outdoor classroom area, I can't recall, does it include some Wi-Fi expansion out there?
We have Wi-Fi accessibility out there.
Perfect. Okay. Good.
Yep.
Thank you.
Cheryl?
Jim, the remote teaching, is that, just to clarify, because you were spotty for me. I don't know if everyone else had the same problem. Is that constant, like every day, or is that if they're quarantined? I was having trouble following.
No, it's so if the teacher is absent because they're required to be, right?
Oh, okay.
If they have a symptom, if they're quarantined, then we're allowing them to remote in. So if they're well enough, if they're sick, they stay home, right?
Right,
if
right.
they're well enough, we're allowing them to remote in so that we can cover the classroom with somebody that's not required to be a certified teacher, since we can't find any.
Right.
And so the teacher is not discharging a sick day, but they're providing instruction for their students, which, even if it's remote, it's better than having a sub who doesn't know the kids. So that's been super helpful for us. I think if we didn't have that agreement, it would be really difficult for us to manage all the absences. And we probably would have had to make some different decisions about opening school on certain days because of the lack of staffing.
And then my other question is, so your the option that the governor gave, was that for the high school only, or did
Only high school. Only high school.
now, if there were, is it up to you? Has she given superintendent's discretion? For example, say all of a sudden Metcalf had a bunch of cases and, like you said, staffing got difficult. Would you maybe close Metcalf down temporarily or the whole district?
So we do have permission to make that call based on staffing, and we can do it from school to school.
Okay.
And so if that happened, if Metcalf became an issue because too many kids and teachers were quarantined and I couldn't staff the building, I could close Metcalf and keep the rest of the buildings open. But it would be because of staffing.
So the option was strictly for the high school?
Strictly high school.
Just because of the, they work and
Correct.
the sports and they're a little bit more symptomatic than the younger kids.
Correct.
Okay. That's what I thought, but yeah. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, I don't see any other hands raised. Okay, I think we're good. Okay, we have Amy on. She came on at midway through, so let's just go back to recognitions and achievements because this is Amy's last meeting with us. Amy, I'd like to thank you for your public service to our schools and our students over the last 4 years. It's a big undertaking being on school committee, and we do want to let you know that we appreciate your time and your contributions. Anybody else like to say anything to Amy?
Yeah, Amy, this is Paul. Thank you for volunteering for 4 years for this school committee. I know it's been difficult at times for you personally, trying to juggle, family and the school committee, not to mention some of the earlier things that took place with the school committee and you. So I think that it's a testament to your endurance having dealt with these issues, and I thank you for your service.
Thank you. That was nice.
Okay. All right.
I'm glad that I did it, and obviously things are changing hands, and it's definitely been a great experience, and I've learned a lot and wish I were able to continue to do more, but you guys do great. Thank you.
Thanks, Amy.
Thank you, Amy.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Amy.
Amy. Good
Thanks,
luck,
Amy.
Amy.
Okay, we will go to important dates and meetings. So we have Tuesday, December 8th. We have a school committee meeting. That's also the organizational meeting. We have Friday, January 8th. Believe it or not, the 2021 draft of the superintendent's budget. Not quite sure we have the budget for this year.
We don't.
Okay, maybe you'll give us I don't know if you'll be giving us a blank book. All right, we have Tuesday, January 12th. We have a school committee meeting, a joint meeting with the town councils on Thursday, January 14th. January 20th, we have budget workshops. And January 26th, we have a school committee meeting. Okay, Jim, anything else before we depart?
No, there's nothing that requires executive.
Nope. Okay, good. All right. Everybody have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Happy cooking. Hope you have a little bit of family to enjoy. And enjoy your day.
Happy
Thank you. Happy
Thank you. The same to
Thanksgiving,
you.
Thank you.
Thank
Great
you.
night, everybody.
Have a good night. Have a nice holiday.
Thank you.
Bye.
You too.
Did we
Bye-bye.
adjourn?
No, we didn't adjourn. Everybody hold on.
Not yet.
I knew we didn't adjourn, but I had to get my Thanksgiving wishes out there. Okay.
Oh.
So let's see. So let's have a motion to adjourn.
So
So
moved.
moved.
Okay.
Second.
Kissinger moved. Gardner seconded. Okay, we'll take our roll call vote. Member Kissinger,
Aye.
Member Donovan,
Aye.
Member Green,
Aye.
Member Allen,
Aye.
Member McFadden. Oh, Member McFadden left us. Member Gardner,
Aye.
Okay, and I'm an aye. Okay, motion carries. Thanks, everybody. Have a good night.
Take
You
care.
too.
Thank you. You too.
Thanks, you
Thanks.
too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.